good afternoon and welcome to the Cop Update from the LFC Daytrippers. I'm Gav, and what a day we have in store today. It's beautiful out. It's Wednesday. It's the afternoon after the night before. Liverpool 4, Manchester United 0 from Anfield last night. First things first, Kev and Chris done a brilliant post-match reaction full-time Reds show last night. Go and check that out. It is on our YouTube page and it's also across all your podcast apps as well. Immediate match reaction to that last night, so go and check that out. If you are in the chat, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it across your social media. But most importantly, as I always say, throw it whatever comments you have in the chat, and we will read as many as we can over the next 25 to 30 minutes. What a night that was. I know the lads went through it last night, but I'm going to have a go, and I know 4 lads later on will have another go at it, and why not? Because it was an exceptional performance from Liverpool last night against the United side that just could not live with us from minute 1 to minute 93 or wherever it might have been. Let me scroll back up here because people are in and I'd like to say hello to them. The Reclaimer just is in love with Salah and Mane. So is Avo. Ross B says, Man U can finally put the KY Jelly Costco bucket away for the season. Them knots are hard to take. Curtis J is in, Avo is in, Emmett is in. Let me see. Kev O'Sullivan says, smash the like button while you're waiting. He's doing his job there. Good man yourself. Afternoon all, I would 100% play Salah on Sunday. He's ravenous once again, says Garrett McDonald. We will get on to that. Let me see. Dylan O'Rourke is in. He says, good afternoon. Ross B has smashed the like button. Fair play to him. The show title is A Thing of Beauty. Oh yeah, what did I call it? Liverpool Destroy United, I think I called it. Megan McCannon is in, says good afternoon. Mickey Fryers is in. Afternoon, Gav, great day to be a Red. There's loads of people in there, so as I said, if you have any comments at all about last night, going forward, whatever you want, throw it in there. Tonight we will have Keith, Phil, Shawnee and Davo on the midweek fix, and they're I asked Keith what will I call it. He said call it Thiago the Great. It's going to be 2.5 hours of us talking about Thiago Alcantara and the rest in jellies. So that's exactly what you're going to get at 10 p.m. tonight, just to give you a little heads up. But going back to last night, Sarah Vanan says, amazing day, 10 games to immortality. Going back to last night, when you look at we tried to predict the team yesterday. I think we've got fairly close, didn't we? We had got Alisson, we had got Trent, we'd Robbo, we'd Matip, we'd Van Dijk, we had Fabinho, we had Henderson. I think I went with Keita instead of Thiago. And up front, I think we did pick Diaz. I didn't think we could drop Mane and Salah with plays. We were fairly close on the prediction. The United team, though, mother of fuck. You know, when you see Phil Jones on there, you see Pogba in midfield with Matic. Pogba goes off after 8 minutes. You just see the levels. The absolute levels. Shawnee Lawson says yes, Gav, and Shawnee Lawson gave me one of the funniest moments of the season last night when he gave me an update on Phil Jones at halftime. I can't repeat it, but it was absolutely sensational. But when you see that team, you know, the lot is playing. You have Maguire, you have Lindelof, you have Jones, you have Pogba, you have Matic. Like, he takes off Pogba and he puts on a guy that has had a row with Ranić, you know, should have left the club in January. In Jesse Lingard, you have Elanga who tried, you have Rashford that just has no interest in Manchester United by the looks of it. And I said a 2-0 tight win yesterday. I was completely wrong. Shawnee has reminded me about 14 times since then, which is fair. But you know what, Liverpool were absolutely majestic. My thing about yesterday was that United were going to come out. They were going to I thought they were going to play a 5-4-1, which I think they more or less did. But it was going to be like, do you remember Mourinho used to play us, where he'd play 3 at the back, he'd play 2 wing backs, and then he'd play 2 in front of those wing backs. So you were literally looking at 7 defenders, and he'd just pile 3 into the middle of the park, 1 up top that dropped in as well, and make it as difficult as possible for us, frustrate us. See, like, Sancho not starting was mad, but maybe Sancho was, you know, in my mind when I seen the lineup was they're going to try frustrate as much as they can, and then Sancho could come on, because I thought he was actually decent when he came on. Sancho, he was a little bit of a spark for them that they just didn't have. But enough about them. I'll talk about them in a bit. But Liverpool, Jesus, it was absolutely unbelievable. It was ridiculous. Jamal Smith-Graham, oh, here's a show. It was a bit awkward in my house last night, he says. My wife is a United fan. We still haven't talked about the match yet. I don't know how to breach the subject. 2 beatings and they are so bad, she is hurting. Jamal, I just come straight out with it, bro. I just come out and I just say, listen, you are absolutely deplorable. And despite Gary Neville and the likes talking about training grounds and stadiums, at the end of the day, you've pumped shitloads of money into that team, and that's what you're left with. But there is bits I want to get on to about United later, but let's talk about Liverpool properly, because the first goal, the second goal is ridiculous, but the first goal, if you watch it, it starts from Alisson. It goes across the back. I think Thiago plays it to Matip, who gives it to Trent, who plays it down the line into Salah, who pings it off to Henderson, who hits a lovely pass into Mane. But watch Salah and Trent; they're gone. They trust Henderson and they trust Mane implicitly. They'll make this work. The two of them are gone. This is a 5-man defence. A 5-man defence. And literally 1, 2, 3, 4 passes, and literally Trent and Salah are fighting over who's going to square this ball. Salah gets onto it, squares it perfectly. Diaz knocks it in, 1-0, 4.5 minutes on the clock, or whatever it was. And it's game over. It's absolutely game over, because United, 1, they don't have the bottle in them to come back, and 2, you could see, regardless of what way they set up, they hadn't trained for this. They hadn't put any effort into this. They just hadn't made any effort whatsoever to drill themselves in how to play Liverpool. Diaz scores. Trent tries to take the head off by kicking the ball in the net. De Gea throws a little strop. I like that as well. I like Trent standing up to him, and we are off and running, and we dominate them. It's actually, you know, when you see Liverpool team where they might be 1-0 up, or they might be 2 or 3-0 up, and they haven't gone out with second gear. I don't think Liverpool got out of fourth gear in that first half yesterday, and I mean that. They have not got out of fourth gear in that first half. And I have to talk about Thiago in a minute, but that first goal, just straight away you knew United are so open here. There's too much moving for them. There's too much pace. There's too much confidence. There's too much trust in this Liverpool side that their mates will do the right things at the right times, and United just can't keep up with it. It's 1-0 very early. The second goal is just beautiful. I put a tweet up earlier saying the speed at which this is executed is unplayable, because Liverpool do go down the left, they do go down the right, it comes back into Matip, he pings it into Diaz, who gives him back a little bit of an awkward ball, but bang, Matip straight to Mane, and Mane's ball is exquisite. Salah's run, you know, I think it's Tellez, is it Tellez? No, Dalot tries just, I think he sees him run across him, but he doesn't think that ball can get there. The first touch is brilliant, and it's a brilliant finish, and it's 2-0, and you know, Liverpool are literally strolling around the pitch. Give me some shouts on Thiago Alcantara though, because that is one of the most complete midfield performances I have seen in a long, long time, and I don't mean just for Liverpool. You know, we seen something from Modric last week where he hits an outrageous ball in behind Chelsea for Rodrigo, was it, to score, and you're like, that is just ridiculous. Thiago last night was on a different planet to most people on the pitch, and I include Liverpool players in that. He was on a different planet. So give me a shout about them. Let me scroll back up because I've missed loads of stuff while I've been shouting at me there. Cat says Thiago's unbelievable. Yes, he best midfield performance I've seen in a long while. We have also officially qualified for next season's Champions League, by the way. We're 22 points clear United with a game in hand. So there you go. Oh, there might be an update on Jamal. Here we go. Oh no, I'll get it in a minute. It's coming. Great win, yes. He was like a training session for Liverpool. Thiago out of this world. Avo has told Jamal to get a divorce. I don't think he should go that far. Really hoping Brighton haven't done all their big aways in the last few games, says Alex. We'll get onto that in a bit. Gav, I was right there with you and was worried they were just going to literally park us as Pasio. That was why it was so important to get the goal early, and then it was over. 50 million for Wan-Bissaka. Best part was Trent smashing the ball at De Gea. Jamal says, lol, after the 5-0 I tried to console her, but he ended just laughing. She wasn't happy. Just have another laugh. What can you do? Goldbridge said there was 5 pigeons at the back. Goldbridge was brilliant last night. He was wearing pajamas while doing the watch along, which I thought was outrageous. Let me see. The pass by Mane is fantastic, says Chris Brack. Absolutely. I'm nearly at the bottom here. I am. Performance for the ages for Thiago. Kids learning footy should be taught this. Thiago gives Mark Massey the horn. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but there you go. I said it. Paul Gormley says Thiago slows us down. But. You see, what Thiago does there last night for me is A, gives you an absolute masterclass in football. Both with the ball and without the ball. Positionally, he was unbelievable. Tackles he puts in, he presses. Bruno Fernandes at one stage nearly gives up and just swings the left leg of the ball down near the Anfield Road end. He gives you an absolute lesson on how to play football, how to play midfield, how to play when under pressure, out of pressure, what positions to be in with and without the ball, his range of passing, ridiculous. But another thing that was, when I was watching last night, was when you think of all these people out there that assess Thiago and have done over the last year and a half since he joined Liverpool or whatever, and he slows us down and this and that and the other, stop listening to them. Genuinely. Start listening to people that watch Liverpool all the time. Start listening to people that go and watch Liverpool in football grounds and actually watch them because they want to watch them. Not half watch them and then make a big song and dance about something where they can just, it can go on the internet and they can get some attention, because that's what you're down to now. Thiago has been, aside from injuries, where he gets one bad one against Everton, he has one, I think he picks one up against Leeds as well. He has been unbelievable. Unfucking believable for Liverpool. And last night he was ridiculous. It's 2-0 at half time. First 10 minutes of the second half, Liverpool, I don't know whether they find it a little bit difficult to get into a groove or they find it a bit too easy. But what I loved about it was it did look a bit like they were being a bit ragged at times. And I loved Klopp. I loved Klopp getting annoyed at Van Dijk. I loved Robertson getting annoyed at Van Dijk. It was a real, because Shani said something here the other night where he said Andy Robertson was asked about Sadio Mane's birthday and he went, yeah, we sang happy birthday to him, we don't have time for birthdays. And that's how, blinkered they are. That's the tunnel vision they have. And last night you could see in the first 10 minutes of the second half, maybe adjusting to United's change in formation, which is fine. You can take time to adjust. But it was a real case of, I'm not having that from Van Dijk. Now, Van Dijk is the alpha male in this squad, in this 11. And you have the left back and you have the manager absolutely balling them over. And he takes her on board. And then it stops. And Liverpool are meandering through, and then bang, it's 3-0. And I was delighted for Sadio Mane because I thought he was really good in the first half. There was some times in the first half where he could have got the ball and didn't. And, you're kind of going, he could be off, Liverpool are holding it. But when you look back, he's not, because United are all over the fucking place. But Sadio Mane, it comes from Robertson breaking it up really well, charging through the pitch, gives it to Diaz. And another thing Sean need to say is about Diaz's decision making. Would be very easy there for Diaz to do two things. One, stand the defender up, try to go by him, come inside and hit a shot, right? Second thing is to hit a ball early across the face of goal and hope that someone's on it. He doesn't. He delays it that second and he gives a ball back to Mane, which is right on the money. And Mane's finish is actually very, very underrated for me. It's coming back. It's nearly behind him. It's on his left foot. He doesn't trash it. He just coaxes the ball into the bottom corner. And De Gea is a really good shot stopper from that distance. Really good. You've seen him make so many changes or so many saves. He can't get near it because he swept it into the bottom corner beautifully with loads of control. He hasn't taken a touch to set himself and give De Gea a look. It's really, really good. And United are gone at that stage. They're absolutely gone. We're passing it around. Thiago's having a lovely time. The fullbacks are having a lovely time. The centre halves are having an easy time. Henderson is keeping things ticking over. Fabinho is mopping up anything. Not much that he has to do, but he's mopping it up anyway. And the forward line are having a great time. Mane is starting to drop deeper and deeper. He's turning on the ball in the centre circle, even deeper than that. And he's turning and he's running at them. And he's running into space. Jota comes on. Thiago gets a standing ovation, which is one of the best I've seen at Anfield in a long time. It was just amazing. Daz TV says we're all tuned in on our lunch break here. The Reds will win every game from here, no doubt. We have the wind in our sails, poetry in motion. I hope you're well, Daz. But Liverpool are just levels and levels above this United side. They bring on this young guy and he's got a bit of stick for coming on and chasing, and Neville gets a bit of stick for saying, I'm a bit proud of him because he's trying to kick people. I know where he's coming from. I'm not Gary Neville's fan, you know that. But I actually agree with him. And Gary Neville says after the game that he felt he went slightly down the unprofessional route by saying that. But I know where he's coming from, because if it's the other way around, I want someone to come on, and kick a few people and get stuck in and not be happy with the fact that you're being passed around. He clutches into Henderson. I think he clutches into Keita. Keita's lucky, by the way. And I don't know how VAR hasn't picked that up. Maybe the ref has seen it and says, no, look, it was one of those where the boat went in. It's great, but I think he was a bit lucky. But United are gone by that stage. And then the fourth goal epitomises them. And it epitomises us to a certain extent as well. United have the ball. Liverpool have pressed, but United have it. Liverpool drop off a bit and they're waiting. And Harry Maguire has it, and he's loads of options. He can go long, he can go back to his goalkeeper, he can go to a fullback, he can go into midfield, and he doesn't. He turns and he tries to whip a ball out to the right hand side, mishits it, puts it behind. I'm not too sure who has it on the right, but they lose it, and Jota is onto it. Now, Harry Maguire, then, this is what epitomises them. When Jota gets it, it's a brilliant pass. It's a brilliant pass. He gets fouled as he does it, but it's a brilliant pass. Salah makes a great run, but Wan-Bissaka, I think, is tracking him. But Harry Maguire is standing, looking at Jota running and looking at his partner, centre-back partner, in front of him, 5 yards deeper from him. And what does he do? He steps up to try play offside. It's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. Salah goes in. It goes in anyway. It doesn't hit Wan-Bissaka because De Gea is stuck to his line as usual. It's a good finish by Salah. He should probably score near the end to make a 5, but he doesn't. But all over the place. Absolutely all over the place, United. And Liverpool, I thought, were brilliant. You have to say that United were appalling, and they were, but Liverpool put them to the sword. And I was listening to the Anfield rap last night, and I think it was Ben Johnson said, if Liverpool had to win that game 8-0 last night, they would have. And I think they would have. I think Liverpool are just on this level at the moment where you're definitely trying to rotate players. You're definitely trying to rest some and give Thiago 70 and take him off or wherever it was. The same with Mane or Diaz or whoever you're taking off. But they're just on this level where they're cruising through games. I'd actually love to see how much Liverpool ran in that game last night, because I think there's games where they ran way more, but they controlled this last night because of a mixture of them being that good, that drilled, and just that decisive in what they do, and United being just the complete opposite of all them things. Fernando Cheers, here we go. Could you imagine how good Salah would be if he was more of a team player? Fair enough, he gets goals and the odd assists, and he wastes so many chances trying to score all the time. He's great. Shawnee then tells him that he has the most assists in the league. There you go. Stephen Hahn says Thiago the Puppet Master, best show since Punch and Judy. Let me see. Hannibal, he's a decent prospect. So Kevin Sullivan. Listen, he came on and he kicked and he ran and he chased and he done everything that no other Man United player done. And look, he upends Henderson and he upends I think it's Keita. But if that was the other way around, you'd be going, yeah, fair play to the kid. He came on and he showed what United should have showed. If United had come out and said, right, we're going to play in this system, we're not going to sit right back, but we're going to play defensively, and we kicked United and we hassled them and we are physical with them, you go, yeah, that's fine. We're not as good as them, but we're giving it as good as we got. There's only one player that done that for United, and he's a guy that was on the bench from the academy. So there you go. Let me see. Hannibal is a great name for him as well, which was fair. Don't trust Brighton tonight. City aren't Spurs. Arsenal are Spurs, unfortunately. Let's see. Gav, you're rushing this. You can make the show last till the midweek fix is about to start, and you still wouldn't be able to cover how great last night was. You know me, I have a half an hour between 2 and half 2 Red Steve, and the lads are going to cover it for I don't know how long. I'll probably be sitting here till about 12 o'clock tonight waiting for them to finish so I can edit. But it will be Davo, Phil, Shawnee and Keith. So it's a quality lineup for you tonight. I could have happily watched another 90 minutes of that last night's Dynamo Kev. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. We broke Bruno last night. He was appalling, Bruno was last night. This is a guy that signed a new deal. He's worn the captain armband for United, I think, on occasions, and just had no interest. Paul Pogba goes off with a leg injury on 8 minutes, not interested. Poor Matic is trying to run around. The guy can't move. He's trying to run around. Jesse Lingard comes on, and what's he meant to do? Play hole in midfield. Young Alanga is there, and he's a prospect as well, and he's being given the run around. Rashford just looks not interested. Wan-Bissaka isn't good enough. Maguire isn't good enough. Lindelof I feel a bit sorry for. Phil Jones is blown out of his arse after 20 minutes. It was literally like me being on the fucking pitch trying to play against Liverpool last night. And they just weren't good enough. They aren't good enough. And we've seen all this stuff about, training grounds and stadiums and stuff. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why do we keep going back to this ownership stuff? Look at what's on the pitch, how much it cost, the managers that were given the money to sign them. And people go, oh, there's Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer. Yeah, that's the one person that wasn't given any abuse while he was in the United job. They're all over the place, and long may it continue, because we've had to put up with them for long enough. And while they're intriguing as to what their situation is, the longer it goes on, the better. And I will say one thing. If I'm Ten Hag or anybody else looking at that and I'm thinking of taking that job, I think it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane, because you've had great managers go in there and that club is rotten, and there's so much to do in that club. Like, even it's a worse situation than Klopp, I think, because when Klopp came in, he had players that wanted to play for Liverpool. I look at them last night and they don't want to play for Manchester United. There's loads of them want to leave. Gav, can you give the nod to Diaz and his astonishing impact on the team? Says Gareth McDonald. He's been exceptional. He's been exceptional, really has. He's just that extra spark, when he's kind of a reason why you don't need to rest so many players, if that makes sense, because he's just brought an energy. I think he's brought an energy. Salah has suffered in the last while, but that's down to, I think, African nations and the World Cup stuff. But he's given a spark, I think, to Jota. I think he's given a spark to Mane. Salah is back now. I think he's just given a spark for Firmino. And even the likes of Robertson look really comfortable playing with him. Every player on the pitch is comfortable. Giving him the ball, trust him so early. And you look how many big games he's playing. Klopp trusts him completely. We talked about, how many games will he play between now and the end of the season? Will he be blooded over a period of time? He's been thrown into every big game. Not a problem. It's like literally this fella's playing left side. That's it. He's that good. He's been absolutely brilliant. Thought the one where Bruno left something on Trent was appalling. Would have got up with 9 fingers and told him to fuck off. Yeah, Bruno lashes out at Trent, but Trent's fine. If some players would stay down and roll around, but Trent gets up, sticks his chest out. Grant, do you know what I mean? And that probably worries you as a United fan and player more. These fuckers are just bouncing up off the ground and going again. Absolutely brilliant. Gav, Michael says, Gav, I don't know if you mentioned the fans on 7 minutes. Was a bit of class. Yeah, listen, the round of applause at on the 7th minute for Cristiano Ronaldo and his partner after the unfortunate death of their son was a class touch by Liverpool. The whole ground clapped for the minute. Liverpool fans sang "You Never Walk Alone." United fans sang their version of their Ronaldo song, but United fans let themselves down again. They're videoed outside, gone by Goodison, I think, singing the usual bullshit, and there's a bit more in the ground as well. But what can you say? All their fans disappeared on as quick as they could. I think there was a couple of hundred of them left by the end of the final whistle. They went there not knowing they weren't going to get anything, and they got what they thought they were going to get. Let me see, anything else before we go? If there's anything that you want the lads to bring up later on tonight, throw it in here, and if I see it, I'll take a note and I will pass it on to them. But like Keith will do what he wants, Shawnee will do what he wants, so will Davo, and Phil's just in fucking space kid. So you could give me a list and then it could go horribly wrong. Loved they get these managers fired for fun comment. Yeah, Roy Keane, I think, wasn't it? Thor says, how did the Glazers stop players from running and putting in an effort? The more I hear from United fans and the pundits, the more trouble I think they are in. They're in trouble. They are in trouble. But look, that's none of our business. Leave them to it. If they make top four, Spurs and Arsenal have to have a serious look at themselves. Ross B says we are peaking perfectly. Attackers are more fluid and can ratchet up the gears now if needed. I fully agree. John Summers says Fab Carvalho looks a shrewd signing. Shawnee showed me a video of his goal last night. He has pace. Brilliant goal last night, but absolute burst of pace in the box and a brilliant finish. So yeah, he looks a prospect. Imagine being us, Gav, says Barry Devaney. Yeah, there's a load out there. That try to imagine being us, I suppose. Antio says Terry on his channel tried to dig out Trent's defending again. Okay. Trent was good. I thought Sancho gave him a couple of problems when he came on, but overall, I think even Carragher and Neville spoke about how good he was defensively. So pay no regard to people on that channel trying to dig out Trent's defending. Cool. I must ask Terry kind of go on and discuss that with these people, and that should be fun. United fans let themselves down with the sun was right chance towards the end of the game, especially after Liverpool fans gesture to Ronaldo, says Veranda Cheese. They did, but Veranda, I was saying this a couple of weeks ago, and you said it to me on the show and afterwards when we were talking privately, like, what can you do about it? There's nothing you can do about it. And I know that sounds a bit flippant, and I agree with you now, there is nothing we can do about it, because they're still walking around stadiums and they're still in grounds doing this, and not enough's made of it. There's been more made about Liverpool's chance towards Billy Gilmore earlier in this first day of the season, I think. There's more made of that, okay, which I'm not saying was right, by the way, but there's more made of that than chants that are being made towards Liverpool. As a club, Liverpool fans, both past and present, and a tragedy that happened to Liverpool fans 33 odd years ago, right? Where do you go from here? It's ridiculous. It's unless I've seen someone earlier saying that it might be time for Liverpool Football Club to come out and condemn these through official lines, and I think that might be the way. It might be, but it's not stopping anything. And as I said before, all these Premier League grounds have hundreds of cameras in them. You can identify these people very, very easily, but nothing seems to be done. So it seems to be a case of, that's done all the time. So is it a story? Whereas a chant by Liverpool fans, which wasn't right, I must say that again, was blown up for days and days afterwards. So there you go. Mo versus Trent sprinting for Hendo's ball was great. Mane's ball, I think. Says Dynamo Kiev. Alisson was trying to give us all a heart attack with that turn, says Antico. Yeah. The minority doesn't mean the majority, says Reese. Yeah, it doesn't, but it's very vocal. It's not like it's a small pocket. It's a very vocal. You can hear it. You can hear it through your TV. You know what I mean? You can hear it through your TV. It's but one of those. The whole away end was singing it. It was not just the minority. It's just Klopp the Mystic. Look, I don't know where to go from here. It's appalling behaviour. We've highlighted it so many times. We've actually been given out to by people watching this channel at times for highlighting it. Going on about it too much. But I don't think you can go on about it enough. The way I look at it is, if a tragedy came upon my family and people on the street were constantly saying something to me, I'd be going on about it all the time until it stopped. So there you go. But look, they'd fuck all else to sing, says Dynamo Kev. Sad pricks. Yeah, that's grand. Who gets rested on Sunday, Gav, says Garrett McDonald. I don't know yet. We have got a lot of games coming up. It's a difficult one. It's still Everton. It's still the derby. They're still fighting for their lives. I think a lot will determine how they get on tonight at home to Brendan Rodgers Leicester. So that should be fun. But when you look at Liverpool's matches coming up, like they've 3 days to Villarreal, then they've 3 days to away to Newcastle, then they've 3 days to Villarreal, then they've 4 days to Spurs, 3 days to Villa, then they've a week off before the cup final. Actually, you might end up with Southampton in there somewhere. There's a lot of games in there. Sunday, you might see a change at left back. I think you'll see a Kanate come in at centre half. I think in midfield, I think you might see Fabinho. I think you'll see Keita. I think you might see Henderson again. And up front, that's where I think there might be changes. I think if Firmino's fit, I think he might play. I think Jota might play. And then you can pick one of the other three to play with him. So there you go. But look, we get more of an idea of that before Sunday. I'm sure the lads will cover it on Friday night on the show when they're trying to preview it as well. Torres Gav, sadly you can't help. Stupid. Only need to look at how low politicians and press have sunk in the UK. It's just another shameful stereotype. Mickey Jono says cheers for the show, Gav. No problem. I'm trying my best to go on as many days as I can. But I really enjoyed yesterday's one. I've really enjoyed today's one. I should be on tomorrow, no problem. Friday, I'm in Liverpool on Friday, but I'm trying to see if I can get it done through the phone or wherever else. So we might do something there, but I'll be drinking. So just to let you know. From Sunday on, it's a game every 3 days, but they've a 5-day break now. So yeah. And Dicko on Sunday wants Ali, Trent, Kanate, Virgil, Simicas, Keita, Milner, Henderson, Origi, Diaz, Salah. We have to wait and see. Origi was back on the bench last night. So, but look, overall, it was a brilliant night for Liverpool. They dispatched Manchester United. They destroyed Manchester United. And it's 3 more points, and we've gone top of the league. And City play Brighton tonight. You never know. I think they've Watford at the weekend then as well. So it looks like 2 fair, handy-ish home games for City. But all we can do is beat Everton, and then we will be down to 5 games left, 1 point in it, and see what happens. But Liverpool were just magnificent last night. They really were, to a man. And as I said, the lads at 10 o'clock tonight will absolutely cover that in detail and give their own take on it, because Kevin Chris has given theirs, I've given mine. 4 more lads are going to give theirs later on tonight, and then we'll move on and look towards Everton. That's about it. 32 minutes I think on the clock, yeah. And Féileacáin is our charity partner. Just to let you know, on BetMate we are atrocious, by the way. Or Alison and Alex picked the team. I think 64th place they finished. So they're on the blacklist. But Féileacáin is our charity. The link is in the description. The amount of donations is starting to pick up slightly, which is great to see. But not enough. So I'm not pinning on all these people in the chat. There's a lot of people in the chat that have probably donated already. If you have, thanks a million. The link is in the description. Go on your phone, copy the link, donate if you can. If you can't, share it amongst people you know. And when you share it, tell them to have a look. And if they can't donate, to share it on. And if you can donate, share it on anyway. You know, it's a brilliant charity that helps parents that have lost children during birth or you know, soon after birth, deal with that traumatic experience. They are fully, you know, they're voluntary. And the €10,000 we're trying to raise them, which sounds like a lot of money to a lot of people. In the bigger scale of things, for charity-wise, it's not a huge amount of money, but it would literally help them out for years, absolute years. So I think it's a brilliant cause, and I'm hoping that we can just get a run on this, and it'll pick up, and people will keep sharing and keep throwing it out there and getting the name out there and getting people used to that name and help us out. And if we do that, we'll get to the 10k, and that'll be our job done for Féileacáin, which means that for 2-3 years, it will be absolutely safe as houses in helping people in some of the toughest times you can go through in life. That has been the Cop update. Liverpool were magic. Absolute magic last night. The quadruple is on. 6 league games left. Win all 6. I think we win the league. And there's 2 other trophies as well. Quadruple. It's on. Don't deny it. Over and out.